ByteDance just dropped Seedance 2.0, and it is not just another video generator. It is a technical masterclass that solves the one thing that has been holding AI video back for years, the flicker. While previous models struggled with characters changing clothes or faces between frames, Seedance 2.0 uses a brand new temporal attention mechanism. It is like the AI finally developed a long-term memory. The result? High-fidelity character rendering that stays consistent through complex movements. We are talking about hair, fabric, and lighting that actually behave according to the laws of physics.
So, how does it actually work? At its core, Seedance 2.0 utilizes a latent diffusion architecture, but with a twist. It integrates a specific identity-preserving module that locks onto character features. Think of it like a digital puppet master. Instead of guessing what the next frame should look like, the model uses control signals to guide the motion while keeping the character's geometry intact. This isn't just a filter, it's a deep understanding of spatial relationships. This is why Seedance can handle rotations and occlusions that would break other models.
But the real secret sauce is the training data. ByteDance has access to one of the largest video datasets on the planet, and they've used it to teach the model how light interacts with different surfaces. This allows for subsurface scattering effects, the way light glows through skin or ears that were previously only possible with hours of rendering on a massive server farm. Seedance 2.0 does this in seconds. It's a massive leap forward in efficiency that is making the old way of doing things look like ancient history.
However, maintaining this level of fidelity requires a massive amount of compute. ByteDance is using custom-designed H20 clusters to power the inference, making this one of the most hardware-intensive models ever released. They've also optimized the sampling process. By using a new technique called latent consistency distillation, they can generate high-quality frames with fewer steps than traditional diffusion models. This means we are getting closer to a world where you can generate a 4K cinematic shot as fast as you can type a prompt. But as the tech gets better, the legal pressure is mounting.
And that brings us to the elephant in the room. Where did all this training data come from? Because the biggest names in Hollywood are starting to ask that very question. The technical brilliance of Seedance 2.0 is undeniable, but it has put ByteDance directly in the crosshairs of a massive legal storm. And this isn't just a small disagreement. We are looking at a battle that could redefine the meaning of copyright for the next century. But before we get into the courtrooms, we need to understand the Sputnik moment this has created. The Motion Picture Association and Disney have officially joined forces in a landmark lawsuit. Their claim? That AI companies have used decades of copyrighted films to train their models without permission. This isn't just about a few clips. The lawsuit alleges that the very DNA of Disney's animation and cinematography style has been ingested by these models to create a derivative engine. If the court agrees, it could mean that every AI-generated video is technically a copyright violation. But the AI companies are firing back with a fair use defense that is equally compelling. The core of the argument is transformative use. The AI isn't just copying and pasting, it's learning the concepts of lighting and motion much like a human film student would by watching movies. But Disney argues that when a model can generate a Disney-style character in seconds, it directly competes with their ability to license their own intellectual property. This is a billion-dollar question. If the models have to be retrained only on licensed data, the progress of AI video could slow down significantly, or it could lead to a massive new licensing economy. While the giants fight in court, independent creators are having what many call a Sputnik moment. For the first time in history, a solo creator has the same visual firepower as a major studio. In 1957, Sputnik proved that space was accessible. Today, Seedance 2.0 proves that high-end VFX are accessible to anyone with a GPU and an idea. The barrier to entry has just collapsed. We are seeing the rise of micro studios, teams of 2 or 3 people producing content that looks like it cost $100 million. It is a total democratization of storytelling. But let's be real, this isn't all sunshine and rainbows. The Sputnik moment is also a wake-up call for the traditional industry. The fear isn't just about copyright, it's about relevance. If an indie filmmaker can produce a high-quality sci-fi epic for a fraction of the cost, the traditional studio model, with its massive overhead and thousands of employees, starts to look incredibly fragile. Some call it a threat, others call it the greatest opportunity in the history of cinema. But regardless of how you feel, the economic reality of VFX is changing forever. The legal battle will likely take years to resolve, but the technology won't wait for the courts. Seedance 2.0 is already out there, and the next generation of filmmakers is already using it. The question is no longer if AI will change film, but how the industry will adapt to this new power dynamic. Because the traditional gatekeepers are losing their grip, now we need to look at the ground floor. What does this mean for the thousands of VFX artists who have spent their lives mastering traditional tools? The answer is fascinating. The VFX industry is currently facing its biggest transformation since the move from practical effects to CGI. But this isn't the death of VFX. It's an evolution from manual labor to creative direction. Tasks that used to take weeks, like rotoscoping or match moving, are being automated by models like Seedance 2.0. This is freeing up artists to focus on the art rather than the grind. However, this also means the economic value of technical execution is dropping. When everyone can do high-end rendering, the only thing that matters is the unique vision of the creator. This is where the power shift becomes real. In the old world, you needed a $200 million budget to make a movie that looked like Avatar. You needed a studio to give you the green light. In the new world, the green light comes from your own computer. This is shifting the balance of power from the people who own the means of production to the people who own the ideas. Big studios are no longer the only ones who can create spectacle. They are now competing with a global pool of talent that can move faster, take more risks, and work for a fraction of the cost. So, how do the studios survive? By becoming curators and platforms rather than just producers. We're already seeing Disney and others explore their own internal AI models trained on their archives. They are trying to build walled gardens of high-quality licensed data that solo creators can't access. It's a battle of quality and copyright versus quantity and openness. This could lead to a two-tier system, high-end, studio-sanctioned AI content, and a massive Wild West ecosystem of independent AI creators. Both will push the medium forward in different ways. The most fascinating part of this shift, it's actually making human creativity more valuable, not less. When the how becomes easy, the why becomes everything. We are about to see a wave of stories that could never have been told before, niche, weird, and deeply personal films that would have been too expensive for a studio to risk. The economic impact on VFX is a transformation of the job description. The artist of the future is a director of AI, someone who can guide these models with taste and intent. Seedance 2.0 is just the beginning. As these models become more efficient and the legal dust settles, the very definition of a movie will change. We are moving toward a world of infinite cinema. The power shift is real, the tech is undeniable, and the Sputnik moment has already happened. The only question left is, what story are you going to tell with it? Because in the age of Seedance 2.0, the only limit isn't the budget or the studio, it's your imagination. And honestly, that's the most exciting part of all.